Hi friends, today we are going to discuss about the assembly of the universal coupling. So in the last classes we have already discussed how to design these individual parts in CATIA. Now we are going to assemble these parts. Okay, so for that open the CATIA software. Now we need to open the assembly module. So go to start, mechanical design, assembly design. So this is how your assembly module will be look like. So in this assembly, it consists of two assembly, that is top down and bottom up. For easy purposes we are using the bottom up assembly. Bottom up means we are calling individual parts and we are doing assemble by using the constraints. So constraints are like this. So constraint consists of the coincident constraint, contact, offset, angle, fix together, quick constraint, flexible or rigid subassembly, change constraint, reuse part. So by using these constraints we are going to assemble the each parts. Okay, so for calling the assembles in the product structural tool, we are having options like component calling, product calling, part or existing component. Okay, so by using these tools we are calling the individual parts in this module. So for calling individual parts, first we need to design the parts. So I already designed the parts and the parts are shown here. So universal coupling consists of this 5, that is pin, center block, fork, collar. Okay, so center block, collar, pin and taper pin. So we have designed these 5 parts. So by calling the each and every part we are going to assemble them. Okay, so I'm keeping this assemble figure aside for references, and this is your CATIA. So by using this references pick we are going to assemble them. So the first part is in this is cork, that is fork. Okay, so and it consists of two items. One is it in horizontal plane, another it is in vertical plane. So we need to place two components perpendicular to each other, and at the center we need to place the center block. Okay, so first I will place the center block. Okay, so go to part and click on the existing component. So it will open a folder like this. So universal coupling, we need to call the first part as center block and click on that and click on open. So this is how the object will be called here. So it is placed like this. So if you want you can zoom out. Next we need to place the other component, that is a fork. One should be placed on this side and another should be placed on this side. So select the product and click on existing component and click on the fork and click on OK. So this the object is placed at this center plane only. The objects are placed completely at the center axis. All objects, all components which are calling will be placed at the origin. Okay, so now after that we are going to move these parts aside. So moving of the components can be done by using this manipulation, or you can use this compass also to move it. So select the part which you want to move and use the X. Okay, like this you can also move. So select the center block and you can use this X-axis. Okay, so for individual you can use this manipulation also. So select this part and move it in the X direction or Y direction. Okay, so next it should face like this. So rotation should be in the XY plane, or sorry, Z axis. XY plane means Z axis. So click on Z axis and rotate the object like this. Okay, and if you want you can move in this direction, that is X direction, and click on Z like this. Okay, just place apart from the center block. Okay, so next we are going to place this object with this vertical plane. So this cylindrical block should attach with this. Okay, So for assembly with the center to center, by using the constraint we are going to place it. So use this coincident constraint. So select this. Now select this center axis and this center axis. So there is a constraint connection. Now we need to update it so that it is placed here. So if I click on update, it will come in like this. Okay. Next, as this center block is the main part, we need to make the fixed object. So if you want to make any fixed object, you can use the fixed constraint. So I'm selecting this center block and click on the fixed constraint so that it is fixed at the center. Okay. Next, so similarly this object that is next, we need to place this next block on the either side, that is on this in a vertical axis. So select this, right click, copy. Now select the product, right click, paste. So same part is placed, it is here. If you use the manipulation, you can see the object. So select this part, click the axis which you want to move and move that. So select the manipulator, select the object and move it. So we have moved the first part. So first again select the manipulation, select this part and move aside. And if I click on update, it first part will be placed here. So this is your second part of the fork. It should be this side. So use the manipulation, give it in this axis and we need to rotate on this side. Okay, it should be horizontal. Okay, so first rotate this in Z axis. Okay, just move it in the Y direction. So move it in the Y direction and it should be in this, that is it should be in the rotation should be in the exact. Okay, so only this part in exact means it should be in Y plane. Okay, so we have rotated this. Next zoom it, and now this face should be this circle should be coincide with this circle. So select the coincident constraint. Now select this axis and this axis and click on update. Okay, if you rotate and see, the objects are at the center. Okay, so these two components are, these three components are assembled. Okay, two fork and the center block are assembled. Next we are going to place the pin and the collar and taper pin. Okay, so now I'm going to call all parts, that is three parts I am going to call at a time. So go to product, click on existing component. Now select the collar, pin, taper pin. So select these three parts by using control and click on open so that all parts will be called at a time. So as the part for the pin and the fork is same, so you can rename it, that is this name for the pin should be pin and for the fork and this name should be fork and click on OK. Okay, so here you can see the three components, that is the taper pin, collar, pin. Okay, so these are at the center point. As you cannot see these components, you can hide the center block and fork to see the components. So select this part, right click, hide. Similarly select this fork, right click, hide. Select this fork, right click, hide. Okay, so you can see these three parts. Now I am going to move this component away from the origin. Okay, so select this manipulation, select this fork and move it in the Y direction. Similarly this part also in the Y direction and this part also in the Y direction. Okay, and click on OK. So now I'm going to show this component which are shown in the hide position. So center block, right click show, fork, right click show, fork, right click show. Now we are going to place this component here at the center. Okay, as shown in the figure, this pin should be placed here. Okay, and at this center point to the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. Means this object should be placed in the horizontal axis as well as in the vertical axis. Okay, so it should be of other part also. So select this, right click, click on copy, select the product, right click, paste, so that the two components are placed here. Now I'm going to move only one part from this like this. So this is copy of this. Similarly, make a copy of taper pin and collar. So select the collar, right click, copy, and select the product, right click, paste. Okay, the collar also copied. So use manipulation. Now move it in the other direction. So this is a copy of collar. So similarly, taper pin also. So select this, right click, copy, select the product, right click, paste. So this is the taper pin part 2. So use manipulation and move it in the X direction. So this is the copy of the taper pin. So as it consists of two parts, two components, I have used copy. So you again the collar is moved to original position. Sorry, pin is moved to original position. Use manipulation, use the y-axis and move aside. Check once. So collar consists of two components and pin consists of two and taper pin consists of two. So next we are going to assemble these parts here. So it should be with the center axis like this. So use the constraint, coincident constraint. So select this vertical axis and this vertical axis and click on update. So it is updated here, but if you see here, it should be at bottom. That is, this face should be at the bottom of this face. So for that, I am going to move the component in vertical axis. So use the manipulation and move this it in the downwards. So the downwards means it is Z axis. So use the Z axis and move the components downwards. Okay. Next, we are going to contact this face to this face. Okay, so this face and that face should be contacted. So that can be done using the contact constraint. So use the contact constraint, select this face, rotate it and select this face. Okay, and if I click on update, it is updated like this. Okay, next here we need to place the collar. Okay, next collar should be placed here with this axis, this pin axis to this collar axis, it should be placed. So use the coincident, select this axis and select this pin axis and click on update. So as it is placed downward. Okay, if you hide the center block, you can see, so it is placed here, but it should be on the top. So for that, we can move the component upwards by using the manipulation. So use the manipulation, use the Z axis and move the collar upwards and click on OK. So we are at the center block. So right click show. So object is hidden. That hidden object can be shown in the show visible items. Swap visible items. If I click on that, you can see the center block and right click and show the object. And if you go here, you can see the object here. So similarly, now here also we need to contact this face with this fork face. So use the content, constraint, select this face, rotate it and select this face and click on update so that it is placed there. Okay, so next we are going to insert the taper pin here at the center axis. So use the content constraint, select this, coincident constraint, select this axis and select this axis. Okay, select this small axis. Okay, if I click on update, it is updated there. Now we need to move the axis to axis, so it should be placed here. You can move manually or you can select the face to face. We can move it manually or you can place it in a particular distances. So at a particular distances means we need to use the offset. So first use the manipulation, move it in the y direction like this. It is placed like this. If you want, you can rotate the object and see it here. Okay, and click on OK. So this is how the object is placed. But if you see from here, the object is not at the top of this pin of the fin. So we need to change these dimensions of this fin. So changing dimensions we will discuss after assembly this. Okay. So similarly on the other side also we need to assemble this fin, collar and the taper pin. Okay, we will assemble now. So similarly we are going to make the constraints for this center, this fork, pin, collar and taper pin. So use the coincident constraint, select this vertical axis and this horizontal axis and click on update so that it is placed here. Next we need to move this particular fork fin in this direction. So use the manipulation. Now use the x-axis to move a part like this. Okay, so move the part aside of the object to face this object with this face. So that can be done by using the contact constraint. So use the contact constraint, select this face, rotate the object and select this face and click on update. Okay, now we are going to place the collar on this face. So use the coincident constraint, select this axis. Okay, select the circle axis and select this fork axis and click on update. Okay, so here you can see the object is placed outside. Now we are going to make the face constraint. Okay, it can be done by using the contact constraint with this face and this face and click on update so that it is updated. Next we are going to face this taper pin here. Okay, so use the constant constraint with this axis to this small circle axis and click on update so that it is updated. And now we are going to move this taper pin inside. So use the manipulation, select in which direction it should be moved. It should be moved in y direction. So select this and move it like this. Okay, and click on OK. As we have completed this assembly of each and every component here. So if you see here, this fork is inside of the collar. It should be up to this side. So we need to change this collar pin height. So for that I am going to pin, right click, open in new window, part 1.3 object, open in new window so that the fork design is open. Okay, now we are going to edit this length, that is this collar height. Okay, in this sketch I am going to change this vertical distances. So it is as 120. So I am changing this vertical height to 200. Enter. Okay, as it is updated here, so automatically it will update it in the assembly module also. So go to window, click on product. Okay, so it is updated here. So as the collar height is increased, so the object is came outside. So here also it is in the outside. So we are giving the more height than required. So now I'm going to change the height also. I'm going to reduce it to some 190. Enter and exit from the workbench. Now here you can see it is placed exactly. Okay. So if you want to see whether this circle is inserted here or not, as the cork, as the fin also consists of the small circle, see whether this circle is inserted for this pin also. So for that, just I am moving this collar aside. See exactly it is inserted. Here also you can insert it. Okay. So total length for this pin height should be, it is 190. Okay. So this is how the assembly of the components are done in assembly module of CATIA. Okay. So if you want, you can hide these planes also by selecting, so that you can see the objects clearly. So next you can hide this constraint. Right click hide so that all constraints are hidden and only object can be seen like this. So this is how the assembly of the components of universal coupling as done by using the constraint toolbar. Okay, now I'm going to save this file. So go to file, click on save as. So in the parts which are placed of universal coupling, in that folder only you need to place the assembly. So I'm giving the name as assembly of universal coupling. So the assembly and the parts should be in the same folder. And click on save, and the type should be cat product for assembly, and click on save to save the parts. So this is how the assembly of the universal coupling as done. Okay. So we will discuss about other exercises in the further classes. Thank you.